Hi, welcome to another episode of CrankHQ. This is going to be a guide how to get easy headshots with any gun you want. Now, this is going to be all done on hardcore because on hardcore you have 30 points of health as opposed to 100, which makes it a lot easier to get one-hit headshot kills. Now, first thing you have to realise is the M1A4, the ACR and the F2000 assault rifles are the only assault rifles that, when they do minimum damage, will not be a one-hit kill when it's a headshot on hardcore. So, regardless if you're using a silencer or not, at a very long range you will not get a one-hit kill. So this requires stopping power. These are the only guns of assault rifles that require stopping power on hardcore. They don't at medium or close range, but at very long ranges they do. So that's something you have to take into account. The rest of them you can put cold-blooded on, silencer, no silencer, it makes not a bit of difference. Assault rifle bullets have a damage over range loss, meaning that when the bullet reaches a certain point it's going to start doing less damage till it reaches a minimum damage, and the silencer makes this happen a lot quicker. So if I'm using one of the guns that requires stopping power, I'll put cold-blooded on and take off the silencer, meaning that I can use a more versatile weapon on hardcore. Now, as we move on to the submachine guns, the UMP45 is the only submachine gun that can get a one-hit headshot with a silencer without stopping power. The rest of them either require stopping power or a lot of luck. They can get them, some of them can get them at close range, but the UMP45 is the only one that can get it at any range with or without silencer without stopping power. If we go on to the light machine guns, every light machine gun on the game is a one-hit kill on hardcore, but the MG4, the M240 are the only light machine guns that cannot get a one-hit headshot kill from any range with a silencer without stopping power. You may want to use a grip with the thermal scope, but that's your choice, whether you can control it or not, you know, how it feels to you. But just keep that in mind. It's something that is not as easy as assault rifles, which are pretty much deadly accurate every time. Now this is the easy part. Every sniper rifle, regardless of perk or attachment, will always do a one-hit headshot kill on hardcore. That's quite nice to know. Let me elaborate more on the class. The Claymore is so that because on this class you're going to want to sort of get an advantage point, not camp, but you're going to want to get a good advantage point so you can easily scope out campers and people who are stationary. So putting a Claymore down will make sure that no one can flank you. The smoke grenade will make sure that you can easily shoot using a thermal scope without being hindered by the vision loss unless someone's using cold-blooded, and if someone else is using a thermal scope and you're using cold-blooded, it's a very good way to make sure they can't kill you while you're running away. Now the stopping power and the cold-blooded are pretty self-explanatory, I've already gone over that. The steady aim is so you can line the shot up, the bling is so you can have multiple attachments, so you can have a silencer and thermal. The thermal is the most important part of this class because it's essentially a sniper scope. It is a sniper scope and it'll easily get you more headshots than any other scope on the game. I'm not sure how I feel about ACOG scope because some of them have idle sway and it becomes difficult to level them up at long ranges, so that's why I sort of prefer the thermal scope, but if you like using the ACOG more you can use that. As with all the things about this game, it comes down to personal preference, so obviously you can switch any of the things for anything you want. This is just a rough guide to show you the basic way you can get a good amount of headshots in one game. You may want to fiddle around with this and to see what works for you. Now here's a couple of clips of the thermal scope headshot class in action so you can see what it's kind of all about.
Цель уничтожена.
There you have the headshot class in action. It usually gets me like 5, 10, 15 headshots per game. It works really well for me. Hopefully it works for you too. And you know, you can swap around any of the things in this guide. It's just a rough guideline of how to make a headshot class. So hope you enjoyed it and see you next time.